it's all about his faithfulness. And I'm starting to see, as so many moms have encouraged me over the years, that God is enough. Like he
Mhm.
fills in all the gaps. I love what the Lord is teaching you. Seems like we're always in a pattern of growing in different
Yes.
ways,
Well, we
right?
should be. If we're not, I think then that's being stagnant and then we're not
Yeah,
being sensitive to what the Lord is doing. We should always be growing. And honestly, we should always be being convicted, Like
right.
if we ever think we've arrived, then that's I think really scary because we haven't.
Yeah.
So what over the last year, but aside from homeschooling and don't sign up for too many different co-ops every day of the week. But like spiritually, what do you feel like the Lord has really been teaching you this year?
Yeah, that's a good question, and one I probably should have thought about before I came on the podcast. Um, uh, Very similar to you, is just learning to trust him. And again, as I mentioned, I think we talked about this on Monday. Brooklyn is going into her senior year, and I think that when it comes to trust, there are so many areas that I'm constantly thinking about. We only have one more year. We only have
Mhm.
one more year. What have I missed? What have I missed? What have I missed? What have I messed up? What have you know?
Yeah.
And much of it is not so much in her character and her as a person, but academically.
Oh.
And I mean, those who know me know I am not a big academic. I'm just not. I just it's so funny sometimes. I'm like, I'm doing a homeschool podcast. Like, I don't know anything about teaching. I feel constantly like I'm messing it up.
Oh.
But then I see my girls and I'm
Yeah,
like, but they're learning the things that the Lord wants
totally.
them to learn. And I mean, we do school.
But didn't
I'm
you
not
just have
nearly
an
as
experience this year where the Lord showed you like the fruit of that labor with
yeah, oh
Brooklyn?
yeah.
Share that
Yes,
because
yes.
that's comforting to parents who think they aren't doing enough academically.
Right, yeah, so Brooklyn she had to take a test, she wanted to get into a, specific, class program for next year, for her senior year, and the Lord shut the door on that, which was great, and we had prayed a lot about that, but in order to be accepted into the program, she had to take like an entrance exam,
Right.
and we don't in our state, we're not required to do state testing, so we don't. My girls have only done state testing once ever, and that was when we were in Georgia because they require it every 3 years. And so one of the years we were there, they had to do it. But typically my girls don't do that. I just don't find it necessary for us to do that. Um, so she had to take this test and I was like, oh man, this is where it all comes down. This is where everybody finds out that I have no idea what I'm doing as homeschool mom. and
Uh,
and she took this test and she did so great on it. She got a
mm.
95%. And
Wow, see?
and it was so cool for her, for me, but more so for her because she was really nervous about
Right.
it. And she felt the same way, like, this is
Yeah.
where everyone finds out I don't know anything, and
Right.
she just, it was neat that the Lord was like, here, yeah, you do
Yeah.
know a lot of things.
But I think we aren't being academic and teaching them because maybe we're not doing it the
Right,
way that we thought because we were
right,
raised that this
right,
is how the public school does it. So this is how you know you're academically teaching your kid is
right.
they're taking a test every week and da, da, da. And so we
Yeah,
think we're not, but here's the reality. We are. We are because
totally.
nationwide homeschoolers are testing
Right,
much higher. It's just that we're doing it differently. And
right.
so sometimes we're afraid we're not doing it. But I was so
Yeah,
encouraged when you said that because that was an encouragement to her and it was
yeah,
an encouragement to you. And it was God going, you are doing it. You are
right.
doing it just the way I've asked you to do it.
Right. That was the thing is I think I've come to the place where I've realized, you know what? God made me who I am and how
Yep.
I am. And I wake up every day, and I read through the word and I truly desire to obey him and to honor him in the way that I live my life. I mean, every day I just pray, Lord, help me to live my life today for you, the way that
Hmm.
you want me to live it. And because he's faithful, I know he's
Right.
allowing me and causing me to do that.
Yep.
And so it's all about his faithfulness. And I'm starting to see, as so many moms have encouraged me over the years, that God is enough. Like he
Hmm.
fills in all the gaps
Yep.
and just trust him, trust him, trust him, trust him.
Yep.
And so we're getting to the end, of our homeschool journey with her. And I go one of two ways. I go down man, we've missed this and this and this and this and this, like British literature. I'm like, we haven't done British literature. Oh, shoot. We're supposed to do British literature. We haven't done that. What are we going to do? Like, we've missed out. I'm like, well, she can read British literature, I guess, after if she wants to.
If she wants or even needs to. No.
Right. I never did British lit in high school ever. I went to private Christian school my whole life.
I didn't. And I went through college and I'm a teacher and I've never done British literature, or I was a teacher. Oh, I am.
Right.
I am, but I was a public school teacher and I never did it.
Right. But it's those things that I'm like, man, I haven't checked that box. We haven't done British lit. I have somehow failed her. And I have to bring myself back, reel back in and go, okay, you know what? Who really cares about British lit? Like, totally. I mean, if you care about it, great.
Yes.
Do it. We don't diagram sentences in our house. Never, ever. I never will. I never have. I hated doing it as a kid. And my girls speak perfectly good English. It's trusting the Lord and just being able to see him at work. And I just care so much more about her character.
Right.
And she's still learning. She knows things about science and history and all sorts of, life and economics and stuff.
Right.
Because we live it. We live it together.
Yeah.
And we do academics, but I don't know. So it has definitely, I think for me, been a year of just growth. Homeschool Insights is sponsored by CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try it for free. For more great homeschool inspiration and resources, listen to the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.